Yes, indeed, folks, you're tuning in to Blue Please, the Tuesday Assault here on WoW Radio. That's our Total Biscuit. I'm calling it the Tuesday Assault because once you've had the Tuesday Assault once, you'll be totally devastated and will never need another one. But we'll see. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I don't know if you guys approve of this. You can email me if you do. I'd like to hear. If Blue Please on Fridays gets cancelled, which every now and again it has to be due to IRL reasons, do you want me to release a podcast, or would you just prefer that I reschedule it to Tuesday? Is this a good time for you? Let me know. Email me, themoloch@gmail.com. Something about the live show that gets my blood pumping, unlike podcasts. I actually sat down, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to get the Blue Please podcast recorded. And I opened up Adobe Audition, and I tried to speak, and I just bumbled. I fell over myself in ways that I have never done before. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I realized, I'm not doing this live. And you know what? I'm not very good at this. It's the live experience that gives me the energy I need to do this properly. It's the audience. It's the fact that I know that if I screw up, I can't just go back and redo it. I can't scrub it out. If I screw up, it goes out on the air. And now if I make a noise like this, then it goes out on the air, and I can't get rid of it. Yes. I suppose that's what does it. It's like the whole thing. I do podcasts, but I'm not a podcaster. Just like that stupid Killers song. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got ham, but I'm not a hamster. This joke shamelessly stolen from Tinselworm with Bill Bailey. Disclaimer out there. Right, let's talk about some stuff. It's knee slapping you good, yeah! Yeah, the slapping of the knee. Yes. Argent tournament. I'm excited about this. It's like Blizzard's come out with a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, just as you think Blizzard have really down and out, they're like, oh lol, yeah, sorry guys, we forgot to tell you, all this awesome stuff is coming in the next patch. All you naysayers, you go leave now. I'm like, damn you, Blizzard! Now I feel bad. Actually, I really don't. All of my criticisms of the last couple of weeks have been absolutely accurate in every respect. That's how arrogant I am. It's like, I am right! I am always right! Yes. However, they come out with all this great stuff, and it's brilliant to see. It's brilliant to see they're making this comeback. And I'm excited about this. Only a few weeks ago, I was decrying... Actually, yesterday? But, sorry, not yesterday. Last week, maybe? I can't remember. But I was decrying the lack of world events. And it was like, oh, do you remember the AQ40 gate opening? Oh, it was so laggy, but wasn't it cool? Now, what about that Scourge invasion? What about the whole zombie thing? Wasn't that great? It's like, oh, well, where's all the Wrath events? We got Wrathgate, which is a canned cinematic, which is great. And, I mean, it's an amazing cinematic. And then we got that really, really lame, like, single-player dungeon that they came up with. It's like, don't do that again. Seriously, it was horrible. It's like, I would like to spectate watching wave after wave after wave of trash. If I want to do that, I will watch a dungeon video. I don't want to participate in something I cannot affect. It's like, this trash has like 8 million health each. Thrall does all the DPS. You can DPS if you want, but you might as well just stand there. You can't lose because you have a buff that keeps you constantly healed, and it's a total waste of your time. Like, stand here for half an hour, receive a good blue. And while it is indeed very friendly to the entitled casuals, doesn't mean it's any good. Now, the Argent tournament. Here's the information we know, and this is from a Blizzard poster, Zahim. Now, I can't talk about certain rewards that have been data mined, and I'm sure that a lot of you have already read about them, but we're part of the fansite program, and officially we do not support data mining. Yeah? We had an email from Blizzard politely requesting that we not talk about data mine content, and to be honest, in my opinion, the data mine content isn't all that interesting anyway, so I have no reason to talk about it. If you want to check the data mine content, I'm sure you know where to go. But no, I will respect that decision. I will not talk about the data mine content. What I will talk about, however, is the official posting from Zahim, who sounds like some kind of crazy Egyptian agent. Like, I am Zahim, I have come for your blood. It says this: in patch 3.1, a new world event titled the Argent Tournament will be coming to Lothrend. This tournament will be live on the 3.1 PTR and open for testing, though certain aspects are still in development. Players will find a host of new features here, including... I'm not going to read the first feature out because I want to kind of have it at the end for dramatic effect. I'm just kind of over-explaining what I'm doing here. New daily quest to construct the Great Argent Crusade Colosseum. Glorious battles to come. What does that sound like to you? Daily quests to meet an overall realm goal. Wonder where that came from. All new rewards, new items, titles, banners, tabards, pets, mounts, more, and a partridge in a pear tree. All new achievements. Yay. Okay, Careface. Many more festivities and more to come in the future content updates. Cool. So that basically, you get to participate in constructing an entirely new area in the world, which is going to have future content in it. That's wonderful. That's a great idea. The AQ40 gate opening might have sucked, but at least you kind of felt like you were involved in something. Yeah, it was absolutely contrived. But it was pretty epic. Yeah, I got it pretty epic. That's a lot of peace bloom. Now, he says the players will find the Argent tournament in Icedrown. Speaking to any Northrend Flight Master will get you on track to prove your worth to the Argent Crusade, your faction's leaders, and all denizens of Azeroth. Yes, very epic. Yes, I did just say epic. Had to fit it in somewhere. However, that's not all, because I missed out the first bit, which is this. The ability to prove your worth to a capital city of your choosing through our new mounted combat system. Mounted combat system? What is this? Is lance good for horsing? Yes, mounted combat. Something innovative. Now, I approve of this for a number of reasons, and the primary reason for this is a game on the PC called Mountain Blade, which is an indie title, which, while it has its flaws, has the best mounted combat system in the world. Admittedly, one of the only mounted combat systems in the world. Imagine this. Most of you, I've imagined, if you have any taste whatsoever, have played one of the Total War games, particularly Medieval Total War 2, which is awesome. If you have any taste. If you haven't, well, GTFO. And buy Empire Total War when it comes out in a couple of weeks. Now, what you will have learned from this is that mounted combat is awesome. And that is very important to note. Mounted combat, lancers, all this stuff, horseback, awesome. In every respect. Mountain Blade is like playing Medieval Total War from a third-person perspective. Yeah? You get on a horse, you have a horse and a weapon. And you can have different weapons. And if you have a lance, you put your lance down and you run it into people, and they die. It's win. It's brilliant. You can ride past someone, lean over the side of your horse, and bring an axe at neck height into them at about 40 miles an hour. It's win. You can charge into people with your horse and knock them down. It's win. Mounted combat is the best. It is a miracle of medieval science. We need more of it. Having mounted combat in WoW is a wonderful idea. It's a new concept. Mounts up to now have, let's face it, been little more than a way of accelerating your speed. You might as well not have them. Really, you might as well not. You might as well say, right, well, you've bought a skill that when you click it, you can increase your speed. But if you go in the water, your speed stops increasing until you cast the spell again. You also have to stop moving fast in order to fight. And if you get hit lots, you may stop moving fast. Notice that is what mounts are, except without the model for the mount. It's just a fancy way of going places faster. Which is cool, don't get me wrong. It has its purpose. But let's face it, that's all it is. However, that is going to change with this mounted combat system. I don't know if they're going to put this into the entire game. They may not. This might be something that simply exists within the Argent Tournament's Colosseum. Maybe. But a new style of play is always good. A new style of PvP is always good. And perhaps it can then be adapted. What we are noticing, particularly with Ulduar, is the siege weapons idea has been expanded into PvE raiding, whereas it was solely a PvP concept before that. Now it's going to be in the PvE zone of Ulduar. So now, we're looking at something that is a PvP concept, mounted combat, that may potentially be expanded into future instances. Or indeed, may be expanded into some other way of doing things in the world. You may be able to do mounted combat. I don't know about you, but I would be quite impressed to see, say, a vehicle, like a motorbike, driving around with a machine gun attached to it. Mounted combat, lol. Or being able to cast, or being able to fire bows and arrows from the side of a vehicle, or horseback. It's fun, it's a good idea. Now, does it really affect, say, PvE raiding, the one thing I actually care about? Do I think that it's anything more than merely a good gimmick? I say don't count Blizzard out. They seem to have this knack of taking these concepts and adapting them for PvE. Ulduar is a very good example of that. You can also look at stuff like Malagos, which was not all that well done, but some people like it, so I'll give them that. Malagos, of course, the logical progression on from the Oculus. The Oculus, of course, being a new concept there, you will ride around in these. And I suppose there's various things you can look at which kind of led up to that. The idea of using specific items in raids, and all that kind of thing. The idea of having to do these little things to make a boss weaken. For instance, the idea of going to Cthulhu's stomach. All of this different stuff that's kind of evolved raiding into something beyond merely sitting there and throwing frost bolts at people and tank and spank. You can look at Molten Core and you'll see, hey, it's all tank and spank. And then it's evolved from there, and this is just the next natural step. I think mounted combat could find a place in that particular environment, just as siege vehicles are now hopefully finding a not-so-contrived and not-so-annoying place in Ulduar. Now, as regards to world events, I do feel that this kind of thing adds a lot of flavour to an otherwise stagnant world. WoW being this stagnant world, less so now with phasing, but still pretty stagnant. You can't really change it much. In comparison to other MMOs, particularly the forthcoming sandbox MMO Darkfall, as well as EVE Online, it is nowhere near as dynamic. The players can't affect anything at all, let's face it. The world is a carbon copy on every single realm, and there's not an awful lot you can do to change that. So, without completely eliminating that, and we did talk about this a couple of weeks back, that making WoW entirely dynamic and more player-driven was actually a bad idea, and probably wouldn't work out so well considering the environment and the player base that we have. Having a lot of these world events, and having it feel like you are participating in something with the entire realm, is important, and I cannot understand why there haven't been more of them. I suppose there are implementation challenges to worry about when dealing with something of this size and caliber. The servers might not be able to handle it. There might be unknown bugs. All manner of things could horribly fail. And indeed, the entire realm would see them fail. The entire population of WoW might see them fail. And that would be rather embarrassing. No point in implementing a system that doesn't work. That's not entertaining. Most of the time. So I suppose that might be why. But I do think that there needs to be more. And as far as I'm concerned, every major patch should have at least one world event of sorts. And whether that adds something new to the world, I'd prefer that it did. Because adding something new to the world is probably the next best thing you're going to get to player-driven content. It's like, well, there's not really player-driven content, but you can participate in it. Yeah? You can affect the speed at which you get this new content. That's okay. That's a reasonable compromise. We don't want WoW to be entirely player-driven, because look at the caliber of the player base. You know, if you want it to be player-driven, then it's going to be player-driven straight into a brick wall in about 5 seconds. The player base cannot be trusted to do anything right. So you do need to put them in a walled garden, as it were. And that's okay. I'm alright with the walled garden. And I'm okay with events that actually mean something. I don't participate in all these silly holiday events. I don't care. Now, I'm jaded and I'm old, I'm cantankerous and I hate the world. So let's face it, I'm not going to participate in the Christmas event achievement or the stupid Easter thing or Lunar Festival or whatever the heck they're putting on these days. Unless it's got epics, I don't give a damn. However, in this case, it does have epics and it's adding something to the world. It's unlocking new content and hopefully that will be used in future. That's good. That's important. I can dig that. I'll participate in that. I'll throw down. I'll put me back into that one. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Why wouldn't I? It's new content, after all, and hopefully it's here to stay. My name is Top Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. When I come back after the break, I'll be talking about the World of Warcraft adventure game, giving you something of a review, telling you whether or not you should buy it, and then telling you about my resurrected project, Fat Loot's Rise of the Scrubs. Got some master plan for you. This is Enlighten Me. I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.